Hi, I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading. Today we're doing a little woodswalk shooting. I've spent quite a bit of time this summer modifying my woodswalk and trying to expand it where I can. We finally got a nice morning to get out here and try it out. I think it's going to work out. We're out here with the Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle. I'm shooting a lubed patch here, and I gotta say it's doing wonders for me. I haven't cleaned all morning, and we've been shooting quite a bit. Using 55 grains of Schutzen 3F and a 395 round ball because we're not doing anything super tight, and I've got a bunch of 395s cast up. When these renovations to the woodswalk here on my range are done, we're going to add about 15 targets, which I'm really excited about. The first couple that we've shot here already this morning, a little bit different than the ones you've possibly seen in our other home woodswalk video, and I'm just looking to make it a little more fun. Not that it wasn't before, but you know, when you add a little bit of variety here and there, especially with gas prices the way they are, it makes it easier to come out and have a little fun, do something a little different. It's not all fun and games though, I don't think. As of recording here today, it's squirrel season is in here in Indiana, and it's still a little bit warm for me to want to get out there. I'm kind of waiting. The leaves are really starting to look like they're turning here, so I'm excited it cools off a little bit. And that's part of the reason I've got the Kibler out today. Is one of my goals in getting this and putting it together was to have a nice squirrel rifle. So we've got it dialed in, and we're just kind of doing a fun functions test, you could say. I'm priming with 4F in my pan here, but I've primed with 3 and 2, and it's worked plenty good enough. It's still humid enough out. I'm fighting a little bit of clogging in my horn here, but nothing we can't pick out and keep rolling with. Muzzleloading isn't really about the speed most of the time. At least for me right now, it's just kind of a small slice of heaven, really. A little break from the hustle and bustle. I appreciate you coming along for the journey. Got a little modern silhouette guy down there now. It's kind of my pistol, modern pistol practice silhouette. I figure if I can't hit that, I shouldn't be carrying anything, so I made sure I darn well could, at least with my pistol. We'll see about a flintlock. That'll count. Silhouettes like this are a great way to get some reactive entertainment, I think, out of your muzzle loader. And you know, there's nothing wrong with shooting paper. I shoot a lot of paper, have shot a lot of paper. Not as much as many of you out there. But this is just kind of a simple, low-stress, active morning. We've got a buffalo down there just to the left of our 25-yard line. Now, we're not necessarily standing at 25 yards, I don't think, here. To be honest with you, I've not been keeping track of numbers very much lately. You know, I keep track of the important numbers. As far as yardages go, you know, I can see it, and that's about all I need. Probably pulled that one up, I think. Over yonder there, we've got a rabbit hanging. He's pinched between 2 little walnuts there. When I was a wee bab, all of this that I'm shooting in, that we kind of use as the range here, was just mown pasture. Our healthy crop of fox squirrels here over the years has done us a great service in installing some shade here on the range, which is real nice of them to do, I think. So we'll pop in there, in between those walnuts, see if we can smack that big rabbit head. Over this way now, over my shoulder, we got a big disc off of a tractor that I've been playing with as a silhouette. The local farmer had a bunch of them he wanted to get rid of, and I thought, well, those are big enough for me to hit, maybe. Beautiful. My next target here is a little upside down T, which can be a little difficult now and then. I don't know how far away it is. Again, I'm not counting. There's something really nice about these kind of transitionary days, I think. I think it's the first day of September right now. Yeah, it is. You can just now start to feel and see kind of the glimpses, the whispers of fall and autumn. Something I've found, I don't know if it's of any interest to anybody, but when I've been working on this Woodswalk, I've been trying to use as much of my space as I can. So while I hope that you're not like mapping out my range, you might notice some landmarks here and there at some of the positions where we kind of cross over. Now, I can do that from a safety perspective because I'm the only one on the range. In the event that there were teams or squads, you'd have to adjust your timing and your positioning really for a range like this. But you don't need necessarily a ton of space to have some variety, I think. You know, at the end of the day, do I need, 20, 30 stations? No, I don't. You can be very, very blessed and very fortunate to have that. But when we start thinking about just having some variety, I think it really spices it up a little bit. And being able to stack and position things within the same area gives you some of that variety. So think about that. I know space is at a premium for many of us. So if you even have a small spot where you can set up some silhouettes, I really encourage you to try to do so. And maybe even think about changing them seasonally. And I don't have marked positions for everything. Each time I go through, I think I move around where I'm shooting things anyway. I really enjoy following a lot of the modern shooting sports that are out there. I think it's neat what people are doing. So I try to, when I can, adapt a little bit of that into kind of the slower paced muzzle loading here. This target, I think, is the toughest target I have. I got this silhouette from my friend Max Egoff before he passed away. And out of all the targets that he had, this is the one that's the least beat up. And I know why. It's so tiny. I don't care where you're standing. And the shape is a little irregular, so it can throw you for a loop. Your priming powder doesn't go anywhere until you don't think there's any in there. Then you dump a bunch and you just got a mess. That's okay though. Okay, tiny buffalo target. Let's see here. Can we do it? Place your bets. Okay. There's a record of that. We did it. And going down this lane here, got a standard chicken target. I think the same size as like the NRA chicken silhouettes, if you want to look that up. I'm not picky on targets. If it dings and it's going to last for a little bit, I'm good. So we got some standard targets and we got some unstandard targets, that's for sure. I've been documenting a little bit of the building of this Woodswalk over on Instagram. So if you're on there, you can check some of that out. And if it's of interest, we can go through a little bit more of it here on the channel. I think we're going to have to focus a little bit more on YouTube. Facebook owns Instagram, for those of you unaware, and boy, they've really cut down on guns, and they don't make any distinction between antique and modern, which I don't really either, I guess, but they can be a little bit cagey about it. Not a big fan. That's a dead chicken. This next one is another example of using limited space where I can. Get my powder out here without talking so I don't mess it up too much. This next target is another example of using limited space when you need to. So this berm itself isn't more than 10 yards, and again, just a spitball guess here, from the lane that we're standing in. But by shooting it kind of at an angle here, we get a little bit more yardage out of that station. Makes it a little more challenging. The target itself is something I've been developing. I say developing, it sounds more professional than it is, but I've been messing around with the idea of making as simple of a self-resetting Woodswalk as I can. Now I work on my own cars a lot. I replace my own brakes and things and oil changes and whatnot. And when doing that, I had a bunch of leftover rotors from cars really going back to high school. So I used those as feet on either side of the silhouette. That makes a nice little rocking silhouette. And I set it up so that it's balanced to the front, so that when you hit it, it rolls back forward. I don't know. I think it works pretty well. Doesn't make them any easier to shoot, but I don't have to reset them every time. At the end of this lane there, it's a little hard to see. I've got a nice, I don't know, quarter-sized bear silhouette. It's also rigged up on one of the self-resetting hillbilly targets that I've made up here. Tried to make the ones that are farther away reset themselves, you know, for laziness, really. Oh no. Our first clutch. I've shot like 40 times this morning. Probably about time, really. So to try to overcome this, I don't know, we might need a new flint or to nap our flint. But to try to get through here, I've wiped down the frizzen. I've wiped down the underside of my flint. It's so humid and so sticky here. I assume we're getting some gunk on the underneath side of our flint, judging by the way my shirt mopped it up. Back on the bear. Easy fix. Also, I have been experimenting with picking the vent fairly often this morning on this little outing, and I've had really good results. In addition to that, really, I've been using exclusively fairly heavily lubed patches, and I'm not sure my total round count, but I know I'm approaching 40, or if not past 40 here this morning. I've not cleaned, and I'm sure that will make for you know, a little bit of a longer cleaning process later this morning. Just going to do a little bit of a pre-wipe there. Go ahead and pick our vent. I get asked about how much priming powder to use quite often. This is about all you need, and if, you know, it might even be a little bit too much. I will jostle that to the edge of the pan on the outside before I close my frizzen up. I don't know how much it changes anything. I've been told that a lot. A lot of people seem to like that. We got a pig over here on the left. No bacon for supper tonight. Oh, doggone it. Did it again, Ethan. Yakking while you're pouring. I hope that you've enjoyed coming along here with me this morning. A bit more of a relaxed morning. A bit more of a relaxed video, really. No real hot topics. No questions answered. Just a nice day in the woods, really. That's good to get. I really recommend it, man. There's too much going on. Our last shot this morning is a small turkey target. It's a silhouette, about the same distance as we've been shooting here this morning. Should be nothing to it. I want to end the day on a hit, you know, but it's okay if you don't. Can you make it one more time, Mr. Flint? That never gets old. I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me this morning. It was a really wonderful time here on the range, and I hope that you have some wonderful times on the ranges all across the country here later this fall. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.